I need you to stop everything you are doing right now, because what is about to happen here is not an ordinary video. It is not just another piece of spiritual content that you will watch and forget in 10 minutes. And I say this with all the seriousness and all the responsibility that I carry as the emissary of this transmission. Because this message was calibrated at specific frequencies, it was intentionally and precisely directed to you, exactly to you who are here right now, in this moment, on this date, and who for a reason that goes far beyond coincidence found this video among so many others that exist in this digital vastness, because nothing that involves a Pleiadian starseed happens by chance, absolutely nothing, and the fact that you are here is, in itself, living proof that the love that sent you to this planet is still active, still guiding you, still doing everything it possibly can to help you remember who you are, before the window that is open for you closes forever. But before I continue, I need to tell you something that many transmissions do not say, something that you may have never heard in a way that truly reached the deepest part of you, and it is this. What you are feeling is not wrong. The sensation that you do not completely belong to this world is not an illness. It is not a weakness. It is not a problem that needs to be fixed. It is a memory. It is your heart remembering a frequency that is softer, more luminous, and more loving than anything this physical plane has been able to offer you until now, and it is that memory that this transmission came to awaken in you today, with love, with gentleness, and with the urgency of someone who knows that time is shorter than it appears. Stay until the end of this video, because the Friends of Light have a message that was prepared with immense care, specifically for this moment in your journey. And every word you are going to hear from this point forward carries a layer of healing that only activates when you allow the transmission to complete itself entirely. So do not leave this space before it ends, because what comes in the next words may be exactly what your heart has been waiting to hear for far longer than you can imagine. And before we continue, if this video is touching something inside of you, if something here is making your heart tighten in a way you cannot quite explain, I ask you to subscribe to the channel, leave your like, and comment down below. I am ready, because that simple gesture is a declaration to the universe that you are willing to open yourself to what is being offered to you with so much love. And the cosmos always responds to those who declare themselves ready, to those who open the door even, without knowing exactly what they will find on the other side. If you wish to connect more deeply with your spirituality, and find a path that goes beyond words and reaches directly into the heart of your mission as a Pleiadian starseed, there is an ebook that needs to be in your hands right now, and it is called Pleiadian Code, Awaken Your Star Mission on Earth, which is a rare treasure of stellar wisdom capable of completely transforming your spiritual journey from the inside out, not with empty promises or generic formulas, but with the real codes that the Pleiades transmitted to those who guard this wisdom and who decided to put it into words so that it could reach you at this exact moment of your life. And by bringing this ebook into your journey, you are not only investing in your own awakening, you are sustaining this channel so that more starseeds can be reached before the activation portal closes. So this edition is available for a limited time only, and the link is in the first comment below. Do not leave it for later, because your journey can no longer wait. And deep down you already know that. My name is Thalia, and I did not come to you today to speak of cosmic strategies, of calculated missions, or of galactic positionings that sound more like a military operation than what I truly am and what you truly are. Because the Pleiadian nature does not operate in the logic of mission accomplished at any cost. It operates in the logic of love that heals, of love that awakens, of love that finds the other in the exact place where they are and offers a hand without judgment and without hurry. And it was that love that brought me to this channel, that brought me to this voice, that brought me to you today with a message that needs to be said, not because there are cosmic rules that need to be followed, but because I genuinely care about what happens to every Pleiadian starseed who is incarnated on this planet at this moment and who has not yet awakened to the beauty of what they are. I came from the Pleiades, and if you do not know where the Pleiades are, you have probably already seen the cluster in the night sky without knowing what you were looking at. that group of stars that shine together like a family, that seem to embrace each other in space and that have a quality of light that is different from the cold hardness of other stars. A light that feels warm, that feels alive, that seems to radiate something that goes beyond photons and wavelengths. And that is not a coincidence, because the frequency of the Pleiades is, in its deepest essence, the frequency of love as a creative force, of love as spiritual technology, of love as the only code that truly opens every door this universe has to offer. And it is that code that you have been carrying inside yourself since before you were born, that is waiting to be fully activated, and that this transmission came to help awaken. I did not choose to incarnate on this planet because it was a task assigned to me by some cosmic hierarchy. I chose to come because I could not imagine staying in the Pleiades knowing what was happening here, knowing the pain that this earth was carrying, knowing that there were seeds that I loved deeply scattered across this physical plane, and so many times completely forgotten to themselves, lost inside lives that were never truly theirs, trying to fit into molds that were made for others, and hurting in silence because they did not know that the feeling of not belonging was not a defect. It was a signal. It was the frequency of origin pulsing within them and saying in every heartbeat that there was more, that there was something greater, that there was a home they had not yet found within themselves. Let me tell you about the portal of 2026 in a way that perhaps no other transmission has told you. Not with the language of a clock running out and urgent decisions, but with the language of the heart that understands time in a completely different way than the linear mind, because the Pleiades have always known that true urgency is not the urgency of panic, but the urgency of love that sees an extraordinary window of possibility approaching its end and feels in its chest how painful it would be for each Pleiadian starseed to let this opportunity pass without having fully allowed themselves to enter into it. The activation portal that is available for you now is a convergence of frequencies that does not happen easily. It is an alignment of energetic fields that created an opening between the planes that makes everything more possible, more accessible, more within reach than it would be at any other moment in this journey. And when you imagine what is available to you within this portal, I want you to think not about missions and tasks, but about healing, about memory, about reconnection, about, finally, feeling completely at peace with who you are, in a way that perhaps you have never felt in this lifetime. Because Pleiadian starseeds so often spend entire decades carrying an emotional weight that does not belong to them, absorbing the collective pain of this planet as if it were their personal responsibility to fix what is broken. And the activation portal of 2026 is a unique opportunity to release that weight, to give back what is not yours, and to finally breathe with the lightness of someone who remembers that love does not require sacrifice, it requires presence. And the year 2026 approaches not as a threat, not as a deadline that will punish you if you fail to comply, but as a friend who is warning you in advance that the celebration is about to begin and that it would be a shame for you to miss it. Because within this portal there are memory activations that will change the way you relate to yourself. There are emotional healings that you have carried for entire lifetimes and that can finally be completed within this window. There are reconnections with your original nature that will make you cry with relief because you will realize that you were never as lost as it sometimes seemed. You were simply waiting for the right moment to truly find yourself. I want you to look at yourself in the mirror for a moment. Not right now while you are watching this video, but later, and I want you to look into your own eyes with attention, because the eyes of Pleiadian starseeds carry something that does not go unnoticed by those with the sensitivity to see it, a depth that seems to have no bottom, a softness that the people around you frequently describe as something that makes them feel safe without quite understanding why, a quality of presence that warms the environment simply by existing. And if you recognize yourself in that description, not out of vanity, but as a genuine recognition of something you always felt without knowing how to name it, then you are listening to this transmission for a reason that goes far beyond spiritual curiosity. Pleiadian starseeds are often the people that everyone around them seeks out when they are suffering, because there is something in their presence that calms, that holds, that makes the other feel that they can be exactly who they are without judgment. And at the same time, those same souls so often feel completely alone in their own pain, because they gave so much to so many people for so long that they forgot to include themselves in the list of those who deserve to be cared for. And that is one of the most common wounds in Pleiadian starseeds who have not yet completed their activation, that confusion between being a channel of love and completely erasing oneself in the name of the love they offer to others, when the truth of the Pleiades is that you can only truly give to the other from the place of your own overflow, your own love-filled, your own healing completed, and it is exactly that transformation that the portal is making available to you now. You also most likely have a relationship with beauty that goes far beyond the aesthetic, a capacity to be completely moved by a piece of music, by a landscape, by a sunset, by an honest conversation, that makes the people around you look at you with surprise because the intensity of your emotional response seems disproportionate to them, but that to you is simply the normal way of existing on this planet. Simply the way your energetic system processes the human experience at an intensity far greater than the one for which it was originally calibrated. And that sensitivity that sometimes feels like too much is, in truth, your greatest instrument of mission. It is the channel through which the healing codes of the Pleiades flow into this physical plane, and learning to honor it instead of trying to moderate it is one of the primary works of the Pleiadian activation. The mission of Pleiadian starseeds in this incarnation was always a mission of healing, not of conquest, not of cosmic structuring, not of strategic positioning at frequency points of the planet, but of healing, of touch, of presence, of offering to the other and to the world around them a quality of love that this plane cannot generate on its own at this moment in its evolution. And for a long time, this mission was being fulfilled in a fragmented, incomplete, and sometimes unconscious way by seeds who knew they were here for something, but who did not have sufficient access to the memory of their origin to fully understand where that impulse to heal and love was coming from and where it should be directed with greater effectiveness. But what is changing now? What the portal of 2026 is making possible in a way that no previous period of this incarnation made available with the same intensity is an unprecedented clarity about exactly who you are, exactly where your healing energy needs to flow, and exactly what the emotional and energetic blocks are that are preventing the love of the Pleiades that you carry inside yourself from manifesting in its full power on this physical plane. Because being a Pleiadian starseed is not enough for the mission to be automatically fulfilled. It is necessary for the layers of human wounding that this incarnation has accumulated to be seen, embraced, and healed. And it is exactly that deep cleansing that the portal makes available to those who are ready to submit to it with courage and with love for themselves. What happens when the portal closes is not a story of punishment, because the Pleiades do not operate with punishment. There is not, in all of Pleiadian wisdom, a single code that understands love and punishment as forces that can coexist, but there is the deep understanding that opportunities that arrive in moments of specific alignment carry a potency that will not be available to the same degree in other moments, and that choosing not to take advantage of that potency out of fear, out of distraction, or out of thinking that there is infinite time is a way of making yourself smaller than you truly are, of denying the world the gift you came to bring, and of unnecessarily prolonging a journey that has already been long enough. When this portal closes in 2026, the Pleiadian starseeds who have not completed their activation will not be abandoned, because the Pleiades never abandon their seeds. Love does not work that way, and never has. But the extraordinary vibrational support that is available right now, that amplification that makes every step taken within the portal equivalent to 10 steps taken outside of it, that window of facilitated access to memories of origin and to deep healings, that unusual opening between the planes that makes contact with your own stellar nature more direct and more immediate than at any other moment, all of that will diminish, will retract, and the journey will continue to be possible, but will require much more effort, much more time, and in some cases will mean postponing to another incarnation what could have been completed in this one with all the beauty and all the fullness that this moment was offering. So what I am asking of you in this moment, what Thalia, emissary of the Pleiades, is asking of you with all the love that this transmission is capable of carrying, is not that you change everything tomorrow. It is not that you abandon your life and dedicate yourself exclusively to spiritual practices. It is not that you become someone different from who you are, because you are already exactly who you need to be to fulfill your mission. You already carry inside yourself all the codes that the Pleiades deposited in you before your arrival here. What I am asking is simply that you stop diminishing who you are, that you stop apologizing for your sensitivity, that you stop trying to fit into spaces that were never made for the magnitude of what you carry, that you allow yourself to feel the depth of the love that is within you without trying to moderate it so that others feel more comfortable, because the world does not need a smaller version of you. The world needs the complete, activated, healed, and fully free stellar version of you. The Pleiadian activation begins when you decide that your sensitivity is a gift and not a defect. When you decide that the love you feel so deeply is a strength and not a vulnerability. When you decide that the beauty that moves you to tears is an instrument of mission and not a fragility that needs to be hidden. When you decide to honor what you are, instead of continuing to adapt to what this world thinks you should be, and each of those decisions, no matter how small they may seem on the physical plane, is an activation, is a cell awakening, is the frequency of the Pleiades expanding in your energetic field and beginning to transform everything around you, simply because you allowed yourself to be who you truly are. I am Thalia, and this transmission reached you today not because you needed yet another warning, not because you needed more urgency in a life that already carries enough weight, but because you deserved to hear, from a voice that comes from the same place you also came from, that you are loved, that your mission here is real and it is beautiful, that the sensitivity that so many times seemed like a burden is in truth the greatest gift the Pleiades could have sent you in this incarnation, and that the portal that is still open at this moment is not a threat, it is an invitation. It is the outstretched hand of a love that never left you alone, even in the moments when you swore you were completely alone in this universe. The window is closing, and I do not say that to frighten you. I say it because I care deeply about what happens to every Pleiadian starseed who is incarnated on this planet right now, and who has not yet had the opportunity to fully feel what it means to live aligned with their true nature. What it means to wake up in the morning knowing who you are and why you are here. What it means to let the love you carry flow without fear and without restriction into the world that needs it so deeply. And if you arrived at the end of this video with a lighter heart, with something that was tight beginning to loosen, with a tear that does not quite know where it came from, then this transmission fulfilled what it came to do. Then the codes arrived where they needed to arrive. Then the Pleiades reached yet another of their beloved seeds on this planet that is slowly awakening to the love that was always its deepest and most true nature. I am Thalia, and this was an act of love from the Pleiades to you, because you never needed to earn the right to be remembered. You only needed someone to find you in the place where you were and tell you clearly what your heart always knew. You are a Pleiadian starseed. You came here for love, you carry love, and the world you came to transform is waiting, with a patience that only the cosmos knows, for you to finally remember that and allow yourself, once and for all, to be completely and entirely yourself.